When it comes down to it, what a man can do is what a man will do. But believe what you want.
In Far Cry 2, you are an assassin, hired by unknown clients for unknown reasons to kill the Jackal, a US-born arms trafficker doing business in an unnamed African nation. Things don't go according to plan. Debilitated by malaria, you lie helplessly in bed as you first set eyes on your target. He goes through your belongings, hoping to discover who you are and your purpose here, and discovers instead a dossier on himself. Information is precious in Far Cry 2, and discovering the true nature of characters is an important part of it. Alliances shift, friendships fray, and people aren't always what they seem.
The target's presence in the state continues to be a destabilizing influence. He's largely responsible for the recent influx of weapons into the country in clear violation of the joint signatory framework. His reputation as a dangerous arms dealer is well deserved. Orders are to terminate.
This is an interesting pose.
Well, that didn't work out the way they planned. I'm still breathing and you're the one with malaria. You can tell them you tried, but that means fuck all, doesn't it? You're fired. You know it, and so do I. You had your shot, but now it's over. And since men like you only work for money, you're no longer my problem. You'll have to find something else to do with yourself now. What your old clients don't seem to understand is that they can't kill me. Do you understand what I'm saying? Nobody kills me. Nobody. I'm the one who decides who lives and who dies. Me. You know, there's a book I read a long time ago. Still think about it every day. It helps me understand life out here. The book talks about men, about what motivates them. Simple, really. A living being seeks above all else to discharge its strength. Life itself is will to power. Nothing else matters.
The Jackal has a very cynical worldview.
What do you think you're going to achieve with this interview? You think somebody in the Pentagon's gonna read it and come after me? Shit, no. I'm a necessary evil. They want me here. They're glad I'm here. Because if I wasn't, they might have to come try to stem the tide. It would be thankless and worthless, and once the bodies started coming home in bags, they're screwed. A dead 23-year-old from Iowa gets more airtime than the death of 50,000 people he gave his life to protect. So even if they did give a shit, their own media prevents them from taking action. I'll tell you what's sick. People in the UK, in the US, fucking Canada, Sweden, they pay their taxes and some remote piloted drone fires a missile into a public market to hit some warlord. Yeah, so maybe war doesn't happen for another 6 months and the price of the gluten-free sorghum bread stays low. It's not sick to arm people. It's sick to bump off their crooks and dictators in protection of our interests and then call it international justice.
You are meant to think the Jackal is an amoral monster, but it is a clever piece of misdirection.
Destroy the preconceptions of what a man is, and you become their personal monster. When they fear you, you become stronger, you become better. But let's never forget, it's a display. It's a posture, like a lion's roar or a gorilla thumping at his chest. If you lose yourself in the display, if you succumb to the horror, then you become the monster. You become reduced. Not more than a man, but less. And it can be fatal.
He walks coolly away, turning his back on someone tasked with killing him. But he's not done with you. Halfway through your journey, you are betrayed, overwhelmed, shot and left for dead. You are rescued in the desert by the Jackal, who reveals a different side to him.
Stop scrubbing. Thought you'd be dead by now. You're stronger than I thought. But not strong enough to stop the APR. They screwed you pretty good. So we've got new men in office. Now what do you think's gonna happen? You already know. The whole world knows. First, they'll take everything they can get their hands on. Rob the banks and the stores. Then, the men will be lined up against the wall and shot. Chop children's arms off and cut the tendons in their necks. And the women.
Why this change of heart? How did the Jackal go from a man who sees gun running as little more than another business transaction?
I'm doing what men have been doing for thousands of years. Trading one thing for another.
How did he go from that to a man seemingly haunted by his actions and traumatized by war?
UFLL, APR. There's no popular resistance, no liberty or labor. There's no ideology at all. There isn't even a desire to win. There's no sense in it. No sense in it at all. What would it matter if we butchered the lot of them? Would it change anything?
The Jackal's tale of the rat catcher provides a clue.
I spent a year in Black Beach once. In the dark. It's a hellhole. Covered in raw sewage. Guards breaking some inmates' fingers with a hammer just out of pure fucking meanness. Men die of starvation there all the time. I saw a guy in the opposite cell catch a rat with his teeth. Because they had him in handcuffs 24 hours a day for 2 months. He couldn't eat. Seeing someone do that, He was weeping while he crushed it to death in his mouth. Seeing his eyes, his face. It's madness. He was dead 3 days later.
What killed him?
Realization of what he turned into.
It's not hard to guess what happened to the Jackal after a year in that hellhole.
You can't break a man the way you break a dog or a horse. The harder you beat a man, the taller he stands. To break a man's will, to break his spirit, you have to break his mind. Men have this idea that we can fight with dignity, that there's a proper way to kill someone. It's absurd. It's anesthetic. We needed to endure the bloody horror of murder.
It's clear the Jackal, upon facing the horror of what he had become, was broken in mind and in spirit, in the same way the Ratcatcher was. Like the Ratcatcher, the Jackal welcomed his own death, but the difference is, the Jackal's driven to one last selfless act before he died.
There's a goddamn disease, what it is. A cancer. You see it, they can't get enough. They just take and take until it kills them. And once they're gone, someone else takes their place, and their disease too. Every cell is infected.
This is an interesting analogy. Some diseases are difficult to eradicate. Malaria, for example. There is no cure for war either.
And the longer you stay, the deeper the virus goes. In the end, nobody will be left, just a disease. So what do you do with this particular situation? Quarantine the patients. Or you just get dirty along with the rest of them. Make a move or I'll cut your throat. It's you. If you're here to help rubber stamp that ceasefire, you're too late.
You next meet the Jackal when he sabotages a ceasefire agreement. What's going on here? Doesn't this Jackal want the civil war to stop?
A peace agreement. What a joke. A comedy act. You think these men wanted peace? They wanted privacy is what they wanted. They wanted the world to stop paying attention to them so they could go on with their raping and pillaging. In peace, you see. It's gonna stop. I'm gonna stop them, and they'll know. They'll be cursing my name when the blood comes spurting out of their necks. And you're not gonna stop me. You think I don't know you, what you're about, what you came here to do? Wake up. I used to be you. They're gonna think you did this. A dirty mercenary who'll do anything for a payout. That's good. It means the war will start all over again. The real bloodletting has begun. We're gonna cure these men of their disease, you and I. We're gonna pull it right out of their veins.
Here's how brilliant the Jackal is. He turns an assassin hired to kill him into his own personal weapon, one he wields in a chaotic civil war as adroitly as an experienced mercenary might wield a weapon. You are partners now, but not necessarily equals.
What do you got there? Diamonds? The civilians are gone. Most of them have already crossed the border. An entire country is about to disappear. They're in the way. We can't do our work if they're here. We have to isolate this disease so we can destroy it. I need you to do two things. There's a landing zone a click due east of here. The arms merchant is there with another briefcase full of diamonds. He's waiting for a chopper. He thinks he can get out of here. They're my diamonds, mine. I need them for the border troops, so you get that briefcase for me, understand? And there's the APR and the front. New guys in charge, and you put them there. They're together in one camp now, making the goddamn master plans. They know you, don't they? You can walk right to their bivouac and they'd let you, wouldn't they? Once you're in, you can kill them both any way you'd like. Think of the possibilities.
This is the second part of the Jackal's plan. He wasn't content to let the killers kill each other off. He was determined to prevent the disease from spreading. To accomplish this, he would sell the killers' weapons and use the proceeds, the blood diamonds, to bribe border guards and let the civilians escape the killing fields. Is there no alternative? Is there no one else who can help? The Jackal doesn't think so.
You know, people back home say they want to help. Every day I hear it in the paper, on the radio. But they're lying. They're not ready to do what's necessary. They wear their halos and they stand by wringing their hands. You and me, we found a way. Meet me at the border when you're done. In here. Almost done. Give me the briefcase. They're all here. Good. We'll need them. The APR in the front. They're still coming after the civilians. Probably think they can kill them or drag them back over the border. The only ones who died today are the ones who are coming. I planted some dynamite out there, by that overhang on the cliff. But the det cord's no good, so one of us has to go up there and short-circuit the blasting caps. That car battery will do the job. The debris will block the road, keep the soldiers from following the refugees. And it'll kill the poor bastard that takes the job. That's either you or me. The other guy's gonna take those diamonds to the border and use them to bribe the guards, so there's no problems with the crossing. Those civilians are making it to the camps tonight. Every last raggedy one of them. Then when the handoff's complete, that guy, you and me, is gonna put a bullet into his own head. I'd do both jobs myself, but there's not enough time. The only way this is gonna work is if we see it the whole way through to the end. Every cell of this cancer has to be destroyed. That includes you and me. If we don't finish this, then the whole mission has been a waste, a farce. It'll start up again just like it always does. So which one are you taking? Diamonds or dynamite? It's up to you. That gun in there is a good piece. Never jams. One shot is all you'll need. You're a terminal case, same as me. At least we can do something about it.
So it ends with one final snapshot, captured to the sound of a single shot from a gun that never jams. How should we judge the Jackal, this complicated character, this merchant of death, who sells weapons to killers to buy the lives of civilians?
If you have to kill someone, if you have to, is it somehow better to do it clean with a bullet through the head? Is it somehow worse to chop him up with an axe? And what if you have to kill 10 or 100 or 1,000? What if in doing it you save 1,000 or you spare 10? What if you save yourself? What is the measure of a man or of his murder? By what insane calculus can we answer questions like these? Should we even try?
We may not be able to judge the Jackal, a man perhaps beyond good and evil, but to avoid trying to answer questions about him, or to avoid even asking the questions, is to ignore the Jackal entirely, and that would be a mistake. He is the most interesting thing about Far Cry 2. His nature is ambiguous, his actions leave much room for interpretation, and his words, if they do not exactly induce wholehearted agreement, at the very least provoke thought. Indeed, the Jackal will leave you thinking about him long after you set the game aside.